The 25th Hour Radio Show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today to the 25th Hour Radio Show here on Monster Radio, AM 1150. I am your host, Rob Fairless, and on the show with me today is the Director of Marketing and Communications of Discovery Park of America in Union, Tennessee, Mary Nita Bondurant. Mary, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to join me on the show.
Well, thank you, Rob. It's good to be here.
Well, I appreciate that, Mary. It's definitely an honor having you here with me today on the show. I first want to mention I got to enjoy Discovery Park of America a few days ago with my family, and we all had such a wonderful time experiencing what the facility had to offer. So I guess a good place to start, though, would be to give the listeners out there a little background information about Discovery Park of America. I mean, how did this attraction even come into existence? Whose vision was this?
Well, we were fortunate to have a man in Union City named Robert Kirkland, who is the founder of the Kirkland stores, if you're familiar with those home decor stores.
Absolutely.
Called Kirkland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Robert Kirkland's a native of Union City, and he was very fortunate to make a lot of money in his career with the Kirkland import business. And so Robert just wanted to give back to the community, and it was his dream to build Discovery Park of America here, right? I mean, Union City is a small town, population just a little over 10,000. So it's highly unusual to have a world-class museum park like this in such a rural community. But Robert wanted to give back to the community by putting it here. And I think his vision is that Discovery Park would be the catalyst to developing more tourism in this Northwest Tennessee area.
Now, the first thing that captures your attention, or captured my attention anyway, if you haven't ever been to Discovery Park, is the main facility when pulling up to it from the highway. You know, the beautiful architecture of the building. Very, very futuristic. Was that the main objective there, to give it a futuristic appeal? Because the park itself represents all periods of history.
That's right. Well, Mr. Kirkland hired an architecture firm from Chicago called Verner Johnson, and Lou Sirioni is the actual architect that designed Discovery Park. And Mr. Kirkland challenged him with the task of designing. In fact, it's kind of been a standing joke in Union City. Mr. Kirkland told Lou that he wanted him to design a building that would offend at least 50% of the people in the city. And so he did create this very unique and unusually designed building, which has in itself garnered a lot of attention.
You know, to be honest, my 5-year-old daughter, who I took with me, really didn't know what to expect when I told her we were going to Discovery Park. I didn't show her a YouTube video or anything like that. I wanted it to be a complete surprise and see her reaction, you know, in the moment. As soon as we walked in the main door, there stands this huge cave bear, right? And I didn't think we were going to see any other part of the park, because her and my niece and nephew wanted to hang out there. And that's even before the ticket line. I mean, I bet it can get pretty congested in that area with that cave bear being right at the beginning of the entrance.
It does it has become a photo opportunity. We had that bear even closer to the door originally, and we had to scoot him back a little bit so that everybody could have their picture made with him. But he's, I bet it's 20 feet tall, don't you think?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's kind of scary. I mean, at first it kind of shocked her, but then once she found out, you know, it wasn't alive and wasn't, you know, going to get her or anything like that, she wanted to have photo ops with it.
Right. The bear has created a problem for a few children who don't want to walk past it, but typically parents can work through that.
Yeah. You know, well, once we were able to get our armbands and get into the center, I came to realize this isn't one of those places where you can see and truly experience what it has to offer in just one day. And let me explain to everybody listening, that's not a bad thing. I thought it was one of the neatest places I've ever been to in my life, a place where both parents and children can go to learn. I mean, either together or as an adult by yourself. But for some reason, my initial thought was this was just a place for kids. That's just not the case, though.
It's really not. It's not a children's museum at all, although we have tried to create plenty of experiences so that when children come here with their parents or their grandparents, that they have a wonderful time too. So like Discovery Center, the building that you're speaking of, has 100,000 square feet, and 70,000 square feet of that is dedicated to exhibits. And one of the 9 galleries is the Children's Exploration Gallery. So we have a great area for toddlers to play and explore, and older children as well, with thousands of Kiva blocks and the waterworks that you saw, the giant human slide that allows you to slide from the 3rd floor back down to the 2nd floor of Discovery Center. That area is just for children, and we're also developing a children's discovery garden outside right now, which is a $500,000 play and learning area. So every gallery has something interactive in it for children. For example, if you're in the Reelfoot Regional Gallery, looking at the 22,000-gallon aquarium and learning about Reelfoot Lake, children love to crawl through that little tunnel and pop up in that bubble, and it feels like they're in the aquarium.
Adults do too. I was one of those.
Adults, did you do that?
Yeah,
Rob?
I did that. I had to. Now, I've been trying to explain to everyone my take on what Discovery Park of America is. You know, I've been telling them it's like a bunch of different types of museums, interactive museums, all in one huge museum.
Do you want to know my 2-word elevator speech?
What's that?
Miniature Smithsonian.
It is. It really is. But it holds its own. It's not just a museum. You have a schedule of events that happen year-round at this facility, right?
We do. DiscoveryParkofAmerica.com is the best place to find out what all is going on. But like in just the next coming few weeks, we have a concert on Saturday night on the Great Lawn. We open Libation Station, which has live entertainment and is a great place to socialize for regional folks on Thursday nights all through the summer throughout October. We have Civil War days on the lawn with an encampment of reenactors and a Civil War dinner theater called Letters from the Civil War, which is going to be awesome. We have a car show, an antique tractor show. We have multiple concerts throughout the summer. So we do have a wonderful lineup of events, mostly because we are in such a regional area that we have to give folks from the surrounding areas a reason to come see us and to come back.
You know, I can't go without mentioning a few of my personal favorite parts of this trip that I took to Discovery Park of America. And I think all you guys out there listening will really get a kick out of these exhibits that I'm talking about. The park has an awesome 2-level military gallery that includes a UH-34D Marine Corps helicopter, which you can get inside of. You have tanks, artillery, airplanes, an exhibit dedicated to space exploration with a hands-on flight simulator, a classic car museum, a barn full of classic and modern tractors, an 1800s settlement, and that's just off the top of my head. What's some of your favorite parts of this park?
Well, you know, we're going to open an escape room in the 1800s settlement on Saturday. We are very excited about that. Have you ever done an escape room,
No,
Rob?
but I've heard about them, and my family and my wife and my sister, we've all been wanting to go together and try one. I didn't know that you was going to do that.
We are. We took the largest log cabin out there, and we've turned it into an escape room. And there'll be 4 opportunities a day to go through that because it takes about an hour. We've tested it on several groups of people, and 2 have escaped and 2 have not. And those that did escape, it took them almost the entire hour to do so. So we're really excited about the escape room. I love the water feature in the park. We have an American garden, a European garden, a Japanese garden. So I love, especially when I bring my grandchildren here, being outside and all the freedom that they have. And I don't know if you notice this or not, but you know sometimes when you go to certain types of amusement parks and such, it's almost like there's this pressure to get in line or to do the next thing.
Yeah.
And at Discovery Park, there's more of a laid-back kind of feeling where you're kind of just enjoying going from one part of the park to the next. And I really enjoy watching our guests kind of almost unwind while they're here.
Oh, I know what you mean. I mean, there's all types of places like benches and stuff like that surround the lake and other areas of the grounds that's just really peaceful to just sit there and just like stare into the water, watch the wildlife. I know exactly what you mean there. But before we get off like some of the attractions there, I wanted to mention the tower too, because that was one of my favorite parts of the park. Tell the people out there listening what the tower exactly is, because that's really neat.
The tower is about 120 feet to the bottom. It's like a 12-story building, but when you're in the tower, you can see all the grounds of Discovery Park, and you can see for several miles out into the community. But people love to go up there like when they first get here and decide what all they want to make sure they get to do outside while they're here. We also have an earthquake simulator and a Starship Theater as well, which has 10 interactive experiences, and it's like blasting off into outer space, and all of the images came from the real Hubble spacecraft. So that's pretty educational and very interactive. Outside, you've mentioned a lot of our areas. We also have a giant antique train display. Did you go through the train?
I did, and that's one of my favorite parts of the park. I forgot to mention that. It takes you back. It takes you back in time. It's the 1960s train lounge car, I think is what it's called.
Right. We have a bar car, a dining car, and a lounge car, and then the engine and the caboose. And that's where we have Libation Station on Thursday evenings with live entertainment and food, and it's just the coolest place to be and watch the sunset at Libation Station out at the train depot. We also have the Freedom Square with Liberty Hall and the full-size rendition of the Liberty Bell, which is a favorite. So, the list just goes on. We can't even mention all the wonderful things that you get to see. But one thing that's really cool about Discovery Park, we don't show these antique tractors and antique fire trucks in their old, worn-out state. Everything that is on display here has been redone up to like it was new. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that's especially when we're talking about the tractors, we're talking about those classic cars. They look like they just come off the assembly line.
Right. We're going to put up a Titan I missile on April the 24th out in Stem Landing, which is next to the moon globe, and it's 110 feet tall. And they've been working on it for over a year. They completely sandblasted it down. They repainted it. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. And that's over there on the side that I-69 will eventually be coming right by Discovery Park. So we're real excited about the new missile going up.
You know, one of the reasons I wanted to speak with you about the park was I still think there is an untapped market in this area who live within the 2-hour drive radius who just don't know about the awesomeness of this park. I mean,
I know. We do everything in our power. We have an email list of about 16,000 people that we communicate with every week, and we have a good Facebook presence, and we encourage people to like and share, and we buy television in Jackson and Paducah and Memphis and Nashville. And but it is I still run into people that have either never heard of us or they've heard of us, but they just haven't taken the time yet to come out, So I appreciate you talking about us on the radio, and hopefully somebody will be inspired. Our mission statement is to help people see beyond what their current level of knowledge. But Mr. Kirkland was adamant when he built Discovery Park that it would be very interactive and hands-on and fun. Like people learn while they're here, but they may not even realize they're learning because they're having such a good time.
And as far as ticket pricing, you have all sorts of options available for people, right?
We do. General admission, when you just walk in the door and you're just going to stay for one day, is $14.95 for adults, $12.95 for seniors, $11.95 for children. We open at 10 and close at 5. It's well worth that. We have a cafe on the property, and we have such positive feedback about the quality of the food in our cafe compared to most places like this. We have an awesome gift shop as you go through the galleries and the outside areas, and you stop by the gift shop on your way out. Almost every single area that you have experienced, we have some kind of keepsake that you can get to remind you of that on your way out. And I think the gift shop is very affordable and just has some really cool educational things as well. So, we encourage people to get here at 10 and stay till 5. And then if you want to come back the next day, you get a really nice discount. You can upgrade your day pass to a 2-day pass on your way out, and it's just a little bit more. like $5 or something more to come back the second day. And then if people live close enough to have an annual membership, that's definitely the way to go. For $60, an adult can get 365-day a year access to Discovery Park. We're closed on Mondays, but every other day that we're open. So children are $30 for an annual pass, and children 3 and under are always free.
And you mentioned the cafe that serves fried green tomatoes and fried squash, by the way. That alone should bring people to the park.
They do, and they have lots of variety on the menu, from little cheeseburger sliders to wraps and salads, and like you say, fried green tomatoes, fried okra, fried squash. They have delicious homemade fudge, and usually have 8 to 10 varieties of that available. And Dippin' Dots are very popular with our guests. So yeah, I think our cafe is really exceptional for a museum or a park like Discovery Park.
Yeah, my mother, Pat Duncan, I'm going to give her a shout out, told me to mention that because the prices at the cafe are very fair and reasonable. In her own words, they're not overpriced like at a lot of other theme parks. And that means a lot to families out there, knowing that they can have a quality family day together and really not break the bank.
That's right, because we only do have the one place to eat, and a lot of places that I've been to, when that's the case, you can tell they've jacked up the prices, but no, I think the cafe is the only part of Discovery Park that we don't manage. That is leased out to Bill and Jane Coffee, and they actually do an excellent job. So, we're real happy with our cafe.
And we're talking about $100 million facility with reasonable prices. I mean, the Discovery Park of America is really treating their patrons right. And I also noticed one thing. I noticed that how eager the employees there were to provide assistance to us when we needed it. I mean, I could tell they were really excited about being employees for the park and enjoyed their job.
Right. We think we have some of the most exceptional employees anywhere. They are excited about their job, and our day assistants really take it seriously, and they learn about the different things that are in the galleries where they work, and they're able to provide additional information to guests when they would like to know more.
Well, Mary, is there anything you would like to add to this conversation before we start to wrap things up here? Any final words for people who might not yet have visited the Discovery Park of America?
Well, I will say this, Rob. I think Discovery Park could be located anywhere. It could be in Atlanta. It could be in Chicago. It could be in Nashville. We're just so blessed in Union City that Robert Kirkland wanted to put Discovery Park here. And we used top quality, world-class architects. We used fabricators and gallery design teams from New York, and there was no expense spared. It's world-class facility. It's just located in Union City, and we just hope that people, everybody that comes will tell 6 or 7 or 8 of their friends, and hopefully we'll keep rocking with folks. We're averaging about 250,000 visitors a year.
And you can visit Discovery Park of America online at discoveryparkofamerica.com. Mary, I wanted to say I am in your debt for creating such a lasting memory with my family visiting the Discovery Park of America. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Well, I'm so glad you came, and I hope you'll come back.
We will. I'll be back many, many times in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Talk soon.
That was Mary Nita Bondurant, the Director of Marketing and Communications at the Discovery Park of America in Union, Tennessee. If you haven't ever been there, make it a day. Make it a family day and take the drive. It's like an hour and a half away from where I live in Ulin, Illinois. That's where I live. Hour and 20 minutes, maybe even. Really short trip. And it was an amazing experience to see my kids have their eyes light up like they did, and to interact with my niece and nephew there and have so much fun was well worth the ticket price, which the ticket price is pretty cheap, people. You won't find something as cheap as the Discovery Park of America. Food prices, park prices, all of that, extremely reasonable. So make a day of it. Plan to take your kids out. Plan to take your wife out. Take anybody. Take a friend. You won't regret it. This has been the 25th Hour Radio Show on Monster Radio, AM 1150.